is Nuclear Zone. Before I turn around, I recognize the crunching sound. Bone. I drop the empty grain bucket and close the shed door. It's a habit from before. In the corral, the green dogs circle Akebeko. My sweet Akebeko, my only friend. The coarse tips of her hair are tinged white from the falling snow. Even now, old like me and at the doorstep of death, she looks beautiful. She circles drunkenly, eye to eye with the snarling greens. One dog's mouth drips red. I see now Akebeko's twisted back leg and the blood pooling under her hoof. No, I whisper, and even with the awareness that it's too late, shout, "Get out!" But the green dogs are starving and my cow is easy prey. After the meltdown, everyone fled. Their cats were left to roam, surviving off contaminated fish. Birds were freed from cages, but parakeets have a short lifespan, and I haven't seen one in years. For weeks after the evacuation, I heard a dog chorus rise up from the village, whimpering, moaning, howling, barking, screaming. I finally ventured into the streets for food, my useless Geiger counter clinking around my neck. I never bothered to replace its batteries. My son gave it to me when he left with his wife and my grandson. "You're an obstinate old woman, Ake-san," he'd said during mandatory evacuation. The apartment hallway was littered with things left behind. I crouched in the bottom of the closet, shaking my head until my son cursed and left. Now, his faint scent still lingers on the strap. I began going door to door, trying every handle. Surprisingly, many doors were left unlocked. Any animal I found, I set free. After a month, I gave up. By then, I only found motionless lumps of fur. The freed dogs established packs, ate squirrels, birds, cats, and unseen things. They bred, had feral puppies, green, nuclear puppies. I stuck to the cows, feeding scavenged food to the survivors, and over the years, some froze in the winter, others perished from starvation, but most died from radiation poisoning, their skin sloughing off, their trusting eyes staring at me, their Eve in my bombed-out Garden of Eden. The last cow died 8 months ago, and since then it has been only Akebeko. In the spring, I slept in the barn and listened to her moo. I talked to her about myself, even though I knew it sounded crazy. "Midori found some seed potatoes," I'd say, as I fed her rogue, starchy fists dug up in the radioactive fields. "Midori remembers when this village was only rice paddies," I'd say. I'd tell her about when the new highway was built, the new shipping yard, the nuclear plant. I'd tell her about my husband before he was my husband, his hands on my rocking hips, and later, his cracked tooth smile. But now, a green swipes at her shank, teeth sinking in. Akebeko cries, and the other dog goes for the throat, almost gleefully. I've seen the greens, seen them at the edge of the forest, phosphorescent as movie aliens. Radiation seems to give them special energy, more power. I wondered how much radiation I have absorbed over the years in this empty seaside village. I feel like a bioluminescent sea creature awash in a surreal coral bed of empty buildings. As the teeth sink in, I know it's better to let this happen, let her go this way. Even if I could chase them off, I'd have to kill her myself, a sacrificial cow, and I would have to eat her. It would be undignified to let her carcass rot, her soft muzzle waste into the ground. But the dogs make short work of her, and I wonder why they never did this earlier, as I stand unnoticed, gripping the fence until splinters lodge under my fingernails. They fall upon her, and I watch her watch me as she cries, and her velvet eye glazes over, and her chest stops. I'm surprised at the sounds, the slurping, the disregard for life. After they are satiated, they stagger away from the hulk of her and turn to focus on me. Then I notice, jutting from the forepaws of the male dog, 2 fleshy fingers. The female, with teats swaying, exhibits a blinking eye between her other 2. A 3rd eye. It sees me, it knows me. The male stands on his back legs and lurches to the road and on down the street, and behind him follows the female, swiveling her head over her green shoulder. She gives a yelp, and from the tree line tumble 2 baby greenies. One has brighter fur than any nuclear dog I've seen, with legs sprouting from his back like wings. The second has a protruding forehead, and there's an air of awakeness about him. And then I understand. They wanted me to witness this. Romulus and Remus come to claim a new world order, the streets and shops and village, and they won't even bother to kill me because that is how little I matter. I go to Akebeko and pick up the tassel end of her tail. We are ladies of a bygone era, all browns and blacks and whites. I wonder, if I walk closer to the power plant where radiation oozes, maybe I'll grow a 3rd eye or some extra limbs, or maybe I'll grow back my heart, big and strong like it was before. I head for the forest where glimpses of green haunches flash between the tree trunks. I chose to be left behind once before, but now I crouch on all 4s, clutch the throbbing nuclear earth, and spring up the hill with a growl. Thank you.